Hey everybody. So hopefully this doesn't sound too muffled. I'm actually living, well, now I'm living in California. And yeah, like those of you, like, those of you that are in California know that, like, if you're not home, then you need to wear a mask. Otherwise, you either get fined or there's some like bogus like rule, or I don't know. There's always some like something, but like anyway, the whole mask thing is too serious. And anyway, that's why that's why you guys like see me wearing one, because like right now actually like I'm away. I haven't like quite gotten home yet, but this is like the final stop before actually getting home. And yeah, so like I'm gonna be reporting, yeah, with this mask and probably even after that, but we'll get into that later. So yesterday, where did we leave off? Yesterday, I was sharing with you guys that I had gotten in a relationship. Okay, so if you're just now, if you're just now like getting into the story. If you haven't watched the first video that I posted, I definitely recommend you go check that one out first. But like a recap on what I've been sharing with you guys thus far is so I was in a relationship with this guy that I met over a year ago now. Um, and well, it would have been like over a year, like had we like stayed together. But anyway, like that's I'm getting like way ahead in the story. So I met this guy February last year. Everything was fine, and I mean, if it wasn't already obvious, I am a Latina trans woman, and like I live my life for myself. I do what makes me happy. I live for me. I stopped living for, oh my God. I stopped living for everybody else a long time ago. Let me tell you guys, like my dream, oh my God. Damn, like, do we really want to get into this? Because, like, let me tell y'all, like, it's a long fucking story. Um, but I mean, I can eventually, like, go back and, like, tell you guys about, like, my personal story, or go a little further in depth with my personal story. At another time. But right now, let me get let me share this part of my life with you guys before I kind of like go into everything else. So I'm a Latina trans woman, and I live for me because it's what makes me happy. For the longest time, I was living a lie pretty much. I was living the life of someone that I I didn't want to be, not because I was a bad person, but because my truth is the person that you see right now, the person that's recording this video for you guys, the person that's sharing their story. This is me. Um, but because I got to a point where I got so tired of living for like everybody else, and like I got tired of people pleasing, I guess you could say. I got tired of trying to do everything that I thought would make specifically my dad proud. Um, my orientation has never been a secret, but it's also something that coming from a Latino household, um, and you may be able to relate. It doesn't matter like what your ethnic background is. You might be able to relate. Because it really what it stems to is like the type of um, people like you're raised by. But anyway, my dad was like always been like this like super macho asshole that would like bang like women left and right, without giving a fuck, without caring that back home, I was waiting for him. My mom was waiting for him. Instead of using the head on his shoulders, motherfucker was using the one between his legs. That's just what it comes down to. Anyway, um, but like even though like he had done all this shit for whatever fucking reason, I felt I needed like his approval. So I was always doing shit that like I thought he would think like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you. Which let me tell y'all, that motherfucker never said I'm proud of you once. And to this day, he still hasn't. Anyway, um, so I totally got off track. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, uh, yeah, the shit with my dad. Um, I got to a point where like enough was enough, and I started like living my truth. And because I had come such a long way with accepting myself and not giving a fuck what anybody else had to say, because at the end of the day, let me tell you guys, people are gonna talk shit. People are gonna fucking talk shit, and yeah, like if somebody always has some shit to say, and that's what it comes down to, and like period. That's unfortunate, but whatever. Um, So because I had come such a long way, like I my own journey like had already like taken me so far. By the time that I met this guy, like I was, hey, like who he met is exactly who you guys are seeing right now. And I even though like behind closed doors everything would be fine, out in public, I there was always some hesitation to an extent. It wasn't like he would completely ignore me because it really wasn't like that. But like there would be this like sense of disconnection, and it would make me think like like what's going on, and like at first I thought like maybe it's me, and let me tell you guys, as a trans woman, you're always transitioning, but there are there are moments when even with all your your training, or um even with all the experience, I guess, that you accumulate like as time goes by, and you really like um uh what's the word, how am I trying to say this, like even as you've gone through the process of becoming the woman that you are, even when you're at that point where you're like, yes, I look good, like I fucking look fly, I look fly, like I fucking smell fucking bomb, all that shit, like even on your best days, there are like we all have that one day where we're like, fuck, like does this shit look too butch? I mean, that's just the fucking reality. That's just the fucking truth. Let's not fucking sugarcoat that shit, ladies. There are fucking some days that you're just like, what the fuck, like, yo, you know what I'm saying, like. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's fucking true. There are some days where like I. More often than not, I have my fucking days where I'm just like, yes, 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 and I'm feeling myself. But there's some days where, when I put some shit on, and I'm just, and I think like, oh my god, like, does this shit look too much? Does this shit look too manly or some shit? And like we have our fucking insecurities. Anyway, so like for the most part, I like to think I'm a very confident person, because like even now, if I were to go out in public, I wouldn't give a fuck. I go out in public, and let me tell you guys, when I walk down that fucking street, I walk down that street like I own the motherfucker. Period. But the way that he was behaving really made me get into my head, and I mean, once you get into your head, you already know you're fucking up. And I'm sorry to curse so much. I'm gonna really try not to, but when when you once you get into your head, it's not always easy to realize that like you're already making the biggest mistake. You're allowing yourself to get into your head. Your head is not a place to be, because there you. Oh my gosh! If anybody like out there, is if there's anybody out there that overthinks shit like I do, then y'all know that your thoughts can go from like the sweetest thoughts to like the most wicked ones. You know what I'm saying? And you start getting like ideas in your head and all that shit. Anyway, so I started like feeling a little insecure. Anyway, then I would notice that he would he would be text messaging. He would be on the fucking phone all the time, and like that shit would annoy me because like it'd be like yo, like what the fuck are you doing on the phone so much? I mean, we're right here, we're next to each other, and like put that shit down. I mean, as it is, like I'm not that person. I'm so not that person that stays plugged into this shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that one person, like that, like it's that one person that fucking hits you up to kick it. So you kick it, and like they show up, and they're on their phone the whole fucking time. Like, what the fuck? Yo, I cannot be the only one who's had or met that one person that just can't put that shit down. And it's so irritating. It's just like fuck. Like you hit me up to kick it, so like or like you want to spend time together, so let's spend time together. Get off your fucking phone. Anyway, um, uh, eventually I started questioning it because at first, honestly, like I don't like to be that bitch. Like I don't like to be that one woman that's like all on her man about shit. Like, oh, who's talking to you? What are you doing? Who are you texting? Da-da-da. Like, no, I'm not that. Like, I'm not that bitch because I hate that shit. Like, if my person cannot trust me like that, then we have a fucking problem. Because then, like, there's some shit like that you're not getting, or there's something that I'm not communicating that's making you feel like this. But anyway, like, I don't keep my shit locked. And let me tell you, like, at the moment, I really wish I would have like listened to my like inner guidance a lot more because there was so much shit that was like that I would catch on to, but because I hadn't. How can I explain it? Because I hadn't spiritually developed or grown as much as I have now, I would doubt myself, and I would let his stupid ass just win because I wouldn't argue it. I would believe his bullshit, even though I knew it was bullshit. I would just go with it. And sometimes, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. There were times where I would apologize about shit. Just I'd apologize about things because for the sake of just keeping the peace. And like he would start like problems, and like that was another thing. Oh my god, that was another thing. There was just so much shit. But it was such a bad relationship. It was such a bad relationship because on top of that, then like at one point, this motherfucker wasn't even working. And let me tell you, he had an addiction. He had a heroin addiction. He had a heroin addiction. Nothing that I ever did, thank God. I never, ever, ever in my life did that. Oh my gosh, never. But on top of like the way that he was acting, being reserved, and making me feel like insecure, just the way that he would behave in public sometimes, like he had this fucking addiction. And you guys, when I say I was a trooper throughout the whole thing, I mean, like, yo, like you guys don't understand. Like I was a trooper. Okay, so when I get into a relationship with somebody, let me tell you, I am in it to fucking win it. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to like win in every like in every fucking category. Not because it's a competition, but because I want to show my man what he means to me, how important he is, how important the relationship is to me. And on top of all that shit, like on top of, like he would like do all this shit while and like still like with this addiction because he wasn't working, he would expect me to come up with money for like some like the drugs sometimes. And it's just like what the fuck? It was just so bad. And I fed into it. And oh my god, anybody that's in that situation, listen, you guys, I'm sorry if it sounds like my story's all over the place, but it's just like y'all don't understand. I experienced so much shit with this man. And like what all this shit like boils down to is I didn't understand why. Oh, I digress. I digress. So I was saying, when I'm in it with somebody, I'm in it to win it. And listen, I'm gonna stick with that person through thick and thin, because I really do believe that a partnership isn't something like you're in when it's convenient. It's not something that you're in when only when it's good. No, you're with somebody. If you decide to be with somebody, you're gonna be with them through the fucking like through the best times and the worst times, because you know what? That's what's gonna strengthen you guys as a pair. Individually, yeah, you can grow, but together, like, you know what I'm saying? So I stuck through it with this guy, and by the time that I asked him to leave, I had, for sure. Let me tell you guys, the place where I was living, he got us kicked out of because he overdosed the first fucking time that he overdosed on me. He overdosed at that place. Why the fuck he would do that? I don't know, but he did, and he got me kicked out of that place. So even though like all this shit happened, I stuck next to him, like I was there with him, and every time that he would like get into this negative mindset, I would do my best to bring him out of it and keep him in this positive mindset, in this positive in a higher vibration, because like I wanted him to see. I wanted him like, check this out. So I stuck through with him because like I know the type of man that he has the potential to be. Whether he became that, I don't know. Like I said in yesterday's video, I haven't spoken to him. I haven't heard from him. I haven't none of that shit. But even though like there was so much shit that he did that was just like a complete slap in the face to me, because I was doing everything I possibly could to keep our heads above water, and every time that I felt like I would bring us up, I feel like motherfucker would anchor us down and just like keep pulling us even further down. I I I wouldn't understand why he wouldn't want to do better. But you know, I stuck by him because like I knew the type of man that he could become. But it's like he wouldn't give a fuck. But so anyway, by the time that I told him to leave, it's because you get to a point where you can give somebody everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything, because I gave this man my everything, my money, my body, my soul, my everything. And you get to a point where it's just like, I have no more to give. I have no more to give. I can't give anymore because I have nothing else. I've given everything that I can. So, like, what else can you do but to tell him just leave? Just leave, because, like, there's nothing more that I could possibly give to you. So he left. But he left me with so many questions because and when the moment that he left, he didn't even tell me that he had gone out of state. And the story that he left under was complete bullshit, and I knew it the whole time. But But I wanted to believe that he wasn't that type of man, even though I knew everything in me was telling me that he was. So anyway, um, for a while I was like, after he left, and we did speak like the following day after he left, and that's when he told me that he wasn't even in California anymore. Um, like we talked about what we wanted to do, and the plan was to work hard and eventually get back together to get a place together. And because stupid me wanted to like live in this world, I don't know, where I wanted to fool myself because I knew that it was bullshit the whole time, but I wanted to pretend that no, we were gonna have our happily ever after and all that shit. Um, I believed him, and but there was always this uneasy feeling. And you know what? Like one day, that's gonna take me into like this next next I guess part of my journey, which I'm still on. Um, but there was always this uneasy feeling, and even after that last time that we spoke on the phone, we would text message, and in the moment I didn't realize that like we were coming down to our last days because our messages we went from messaging like maybe every other day to like once or twice a week to like not very often to like really me just eventually not messaging because what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like you can only go after something for so long before you're just like, well, fuck. You're like, what else? Like, why am I gonna stick around? They're not. Like, he wasn't being responsive. He wasn't. He wasn't giving me shit to go off of, pretty much. So what was I gonna do? So eventually, like, I did distance myself. But even after all this happened, like I said, there was always through text messages. I would always get this feeling, this uneasy feeling, and I didn't want to make anything of it because I really do my best to not be that one person that makes everything a big deal. I I I do get emotional about a lot of shit, but it's not it's nothing that isn't important. Like like if I get like mad about something and like I get all emotional about it, like it's also something that like isn't a big deal. Like yeah, like if I get emotional about it, it's because like yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But I don't know where the fuck I was going with that one. But anyway, um, yeah. So um, I would get this uneasy feeling, and one day because I didn't want to because I eventually gave into questioning it and like bringing it to attention. One day I asked him if he was messing with anybody else, and I mean, was it a fair question? Hell yeah, it was. We were no longer living in the same state even. Honestly, I don't even know what fucking state he was living in because I definitely know that where he said that he went, he was not at. I can tell you that much. That's for damn fucking sure. But um, anyway, I asked him if he was messing with anybody else, and you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this right now, right over here, and I will fill you in on the rest of that little story by picking up on it tomorrow, or who knows, I might record the rest of it today, but I'm not sure. Either way, like regardless, I'm gonna be posting up my next video either tomorrow or the day after. But you're definitely gonna be like getting the follow up, and yeah, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys like my entire story. At the beginning of the video, I totally didn't introduce myself. My name is Jordana. Friends call me Jordy. Yeah, this is my channel. What I'm pretty much going to be doing is sharing my story with you guys. And hopefully, it's somebody out there that can like really watch my video and maybe they can relate with it so far. But yeah, it's about my spiritual journey, and so hopefully, like those of you that watched the first and second video, hopefully you guys come back to check out my other videos. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys then. Bye.